I'll hand you over now to Nicola, who'll introduce our first speakers.
Hi everyone, thank you. First, we'll be hearing from speakers representing partners that have been separated. These people represent couples who have found themselves on opposite sides of the Australian border restrictions since March 2020. This situation happens because the person in Australia cannot leave the country, either due to an inability to meet the criteria for exiting, or because their request to exit was denied, or because the person outside Australia cannot enter because of their nationality or visa status. Many of these partners have not seen or touched their significant other since the pandemic began. Our speakers will talk us through the exemption process that the Morrison government has put in place, the challenges with this process, and the experience of being apart from your other half during a global pandemic.
G'day everybody, my name's Adam Burns and I'm an immigration lawyer at Visa and Citizenship Lawyers. I'm also an admin of the Facebook group Partners Apart. Now, as it sounds, Partners Apart is a Facebook group for partners who are separated at this time during these COVID travel restrictions. I personally am impacted by these travel restrictions, and my partner of 8 years is overseas in Ukraine, and I haven't seen her at all during this time of COVID restrictions. So I'm personally impacted by this. I'm personally helping many people reunite, but my particular circumstances don't fit into the category of, or one of the categories, any of the categories that are available for people at this time for partners to reunite. Now, the other partners in the group are people who are Australian citizens, separated from their temporary visa holding partners or wannabe temporary visa holding partners overseas, or we've got people who are both temporary visa holders in relationships where they're separated at this time. So a person may be in Australia on a temporary visa, working, contributing to Australian society, and their partner isn't able to come and join them. So that's the kind of people we have in our group, and we're trying to reunite people in Australia, but they want to come to Australia. Alrighty, so one of the issues with this, there is a couple of travel exemption categories which are applicable to partners who are apart. One of them is the immediate family member category, immediate family member of an Australian citizen or permanent resident. One of the issues with this category is that there's a definition of what immediate family member means on the Department of Home Affairs website. And what we're seeing is people who clearly meet the definition. That is that the definition is you're married or in a de facto relationship. De facto relationship has been defined as you've lived together for at least 12 months or you have registered your relationship. So we're seeing people who have registered their relationship or who are married being refused travel exemptions to enter Australia at this time. Crazy stuff, since that they clearly meet the definition on the Department of Home Affairs website. So what we see is it takes more than just the certificate of marriage or certificate of registered relationship. It takes what's called the 4 pillars: financial, household, social, and level of commitment. And that's where a lot of people are really struggling at this point in time to produce evidence of financial or household evidence when they're separated during this time of COVID. So if you haven't seen your partner for 1.5 years or however long it's been since you've seen your partner, there's not much household evidence you can supply, all right, or social. There's not many pictures that you've been together recently. So this is where a lot of people are falling down, I believe, in my perspective, in the assessment of the immediate family member category. Alrighty, so then there are other people that decide a consequence of what's going on right now. So sometimes people apply. They cannot get into Australia. They're separated, right? So sometimes the person in Australia, the partner in Australia, decides to leave Australia to reunite with their relationship. Sometimes they leave their job, their employment, they leave their accommodation, their renting, or whatever it is, and then they spend time with their partner because that's really important to them. They build evidence of relationship overseas, and then they may apply for an exemption to come to Australia, or they apply for an offshore partner visa. So these are the kinds of things people are doing at this time to reunite. Now, what is my solution or suggestion at this time to reunite partners? Well, I think there's only one. I think there is only one suggestion or solution that I have to offer at this point in time, and that is the only difference I can see to the current scenario is to lift the flight restrictions or the amount of people entering Australia, because until they do so, I just can't see how their temporary visa holders are going to be granted exemptions to enter Australia. Why would they be when Australians can't get home? So my only suggestion or solution is to lift the flight caps, let more people back into Australia, then perhaps we'll see more travel exemption grants.
Hi everyone, my name is Luisa Gonzalez and I am the manager of Love is Not Tourism Australia. And I have been separated from my fiance for 18 months. I read the similar stories in the group every day. We work together as a couple and we work together online, and that is an advantage, but that doesn't mean anything because we cannot be together as many other couples and families, right? Every day since the past 18 months, since this started, I read terrible stories all the time. Families and partners are apart. And this happened in many places. And a lot of people is just trying every day to have a travel exemption. And they are trying to show all that they have to be accepted to have a travel exemption. And it's not happening for many couples around the world. And I see in the group people dealing with anxiety and depression, mental health. That's every day. That's every single day. And unfortunately, I see many couples breaking because it is hard. And families just saying, I can't deal with this anymore. And it's not acceptable. It's not. You cannot deal with this in a normal way. It's so hard to be separated from someone you love, and you cannot get into the criteria for the travel exemption. Even, yes, people, family that are married and that can prove that they are married, they are in a real relationship, and they don't receive a travel exemption. It's so hard for everyone. And I see and I read many stories every single day, people sharing how hard it's for everyone, and losing jobs and not making enough money to live in countries that maybe there's not even their country, right? I am in Cancun, Mexico right now, trying to get to Australia. My fiance is from New Zealand, but he's living in Australia right now. And we're trying desperately every single day. And I also see many times a lot of the people trying to have a travel exemption to leave Australia and to, yes, reunite with the family, the kids, the couples, just trying. And that is not happening. The people are stuck in Australia, they cannot leave, and the partners cannot enter into Australia. So we really hope this change, because it has been so long and it's so hard for everyone. And the government has to realize that this is unhuman and this has to end. Thank you so much for listening.